Let's Code Review. Hello people, welcome to Let's Code Review. I asked on the Ludum Dare page if anyone was interested in a code review. And guess what? Some people gave me an answer. We will therefore check the game Edge of a Victory in this review. You don't know what Ludum Dare is? Ludum Dare is a game jam where you have 48 hours to create your own game. And if you join game jams yourself, maybe you find some of the tips I will mention in this review also as useful. So let's get on with it. So today we will be talking about Edge of Victory. It's a game made by LucasArts. It's about aliens that you have to fight against. They are somehow changing the time and you have to destroy their temporal manipulation devices in order to win the battle. And therefore you have a small vehicle that you can transform in two different states. It can be a car or it can be a building, and once in a building you can then create some small drones that can attack the enemy or the enemy base. You can also upgrade your drones with some points you can gain when you destroy enemies, and the goal of the game is to destroy all the specific bases. So I've opened the project, and now on the first side it looks like it's everything very good organized. I can see on the top level all the different folders and the type of different objects inside there. And you have of course one separate folder for scripts. Very good. So here I maybe have a tip for you. I checked the UI and I saw you got a lot of canvas objects. And on each of that canvas object you have a canvas and its scaler. Now there's a point concerning the canvas scaler. You can use it if you want to create a game for a specific look for a specific target resolution. So when you upload the game to the itch.io page, you can set a target resolution. This is especially good if you want then to publish as WebGL build. And when you're developing the game, you can also set your target resolution over here in the game. Like, so in this case we want to create the resolution 960 540. Now you can set it in your canvas scaler. So we can go over to our canvas scaler and here we can set our target resolution. So here you can hear the 960 and 540. But the problem is now we have to do it on every of the canvas object. So what can we do about it? We can then instead placing the canvas object and the canvas scaler on its root object, and here we could then set the specific scale with screen size and the resolution. It should be harmonic with the child canvas object, as I saw that depending on which object you have then set an additional shader channel nothing or specific mixed objects. But I started the game with this option and it's looked like it will be working good. So when you're having the game jam, it takes just too long time to make a game for every kind of resolution. So if you focus on a specific resolution, you know what you're giving then the gamers. It's nothing more than terrible when you want to show it to someone and he says, oh, it looks really strange here, and then you have only 3 hours left to develop and then you say, oh my god, what do I have to do now? So doing this, starting already with the specific target resolution when you want to start a game jam, you could gain some speed benefits and less bugs for other people. So maybe this tip will help you in future. I jumped into the code and maybe I found something. So I found this and you're going through the children and you check for each child if it has a building. Then afterwards you do then 2 checks if the building is the one you want to have, and then you execute the target building function, and then you just completely exit the function. I think we can do it here a little bit different. So there's a unity function we can use, I think. So instead of using a for, we're going to use a for each, and we want then each building, we create a variable for a building. Now we say container in container buildings, we say get components in children. And then we say it should be type of building. And there we have then our building. Just copy the code inside there, since now we don't need that anymore, since we already have our building object. And then we don't need this check active self, since get components in children only returns active game objects. So we can also then remove this line. And now we reduce it a bit of a couple of lines. Isn't that great? I still think we can go a little bit further. So, since we only want the first building that's not dead, we could make this a little bit easier. So let's say we want go over container buildings, and now we can use link, and we're going to say first or default on get components in children. So we have our buildings. Now we say first or default. This means give me the first one, or if no one suitable object exists, then give me just null, or the default of its object. So we have here our building, it's called X, and then we say it should not be dead. And that would be our building object. And now we could then do our check. If it's not null, then we just execute our target build. Oh, for the case that you really only wanted it to access directly the child object of it, since get components in children, it accesses the children of their children and so on. And in your for, you only wanted to access the direct children. There's also a way to using a for each in order to access the children directly. And that is with the help of the transform object. So we only have to say here transform, and then we say container buildings. And there we have our transform. And now we can just say give us our building. And I will just do, before I will try to convert it into a building, I will then check if the game object is then active or not. So here, game object, active or self. If it's not active, and if it's activated, then I will first transform it then into the building, and then I will apply our checks. But this is only my assumption if you only want to access the direct children. I found a piece of code, and I think we can use an early out here. So we are in the onTriggered enter 2D function of the recoverable vehicle class. And this code will be only executed if it's a drone or if it's a vehicle. Now, if your code is starting to growing to the right, this means if we would add here a second if, and then we have another if, and then we have a for each, it's starting to grow to the right. And later on, when you have to do debugging and fix bugs in your code, and the game jam, the timing's running out, you're very happy about to have less code that's going towards the right. So you have the feeling, I can see the path of my code going. So we can make it here a bit easier with the help of an early out. The early out means like I want to get out as early as possible. So we will take this expression and then we will negate it. This means if no drone exists and it's no vehicle, then we can directly jump out of here. And then we can remove here this if. And then we just have the same level as the method name here, or like the method. Isn't that a bit easier to read? So now I'm in the enemy base UI class, and what I see I like very much, because this class is very small and I can directly see what this class is doing. And you have removed code into a separate logic, and this keeps your other main functions or your game core much more cleaner, since you then delegate your work to other classes. That's very good. So I'm back into the enemy class, and I found that we are using tags pretty often. And here is a switch case and checking its tag if it's a building, vehicle and drone. And we had already in the recoverable vehicle, we also did a tag check. Now, there's a problem with this. Since this is a string, you can easily make a copy and paste error. This means if you then do an error here with the name, like you write then drone 1 or something else, when in the end you try to find out what's going wrong in my application, this can be very time consuming. So there's a pretty easy way to avoid this mistake. And we will therefore just create a new class. And we will call it tags. And we will make it, first of all, we have to make it static. And then we say we add a variable of drone. And here we have it. Now this means it's not, it can also, this is const, means also it cannot be changed, the value of it. And then we can go here, and then we can say tags drone. And the same as in here on the recoverable unit, we can go here and then we can say tags drone. So if you want to make the project with tags, then you can easily create this class, and then you're really sure you're using everywhere the same tag name. I hope you enjoyed the code review, and I also hope that some of the suggestions will help you in future game jams. I will be really glad about feedback concerning my code review in the comments below. And I also will be joyful if you would give me a thumbs up if you liked it. I wish you all good luck in your future game jams. Take care and we'll see us again. Bye bye.